Welcome back, friends. Today is day 41 of my journal, and this is a continuation of my series on emotional intelligence. One of the biggest things in my life that has made the biggest impact has been taking accountability for my actions and taking responsibility for the outcomes that I caused. This works in two directions. You need to do it for things where you mess up, but you also need to do it with grace when you win. Because when you take responsibility for your wins and when you take responsibility for your losses, you just own your actions. And when you own your actions, you'll have a much easier time navigating life. Because no matter the outcome, you are taking acceptance and taking accountability for being able to affect your life. And if you don't believe you can affect your life, you won't get much. You won't get far. It's really hard to want to be better when you're not believing that you can affect things around you. You feel helpless. But if you have hope and you take accountability for the things that you do, you'll see that you have better outcomes. I think of this quote a lot. The quote goes something along the lines of, "No one lies in the lion den and not expect to be devoured by a lion." When you make a decision that you know the outcome and you act surprised by the outcome, you're only doing yourself a disservice. You're only hurting yourself. Accountability allows you to change. Blame allows you to keep getting hurt by the same things over and over again, and you'll just get more cynical. If you look at the extremes of the political parties, if you look at either side and you look at the extremes, notice what they do. They don't take accountability for the places that they are in their lives and the community that is around them. They don't. They don't look for ways that they can impact the world. They want to blame, and then they want the world to change for them. It's not a very healthy way to live life. It doesn't really work in a community. But what does work is being able to focus on your actions, take accountability for those actions, blame no one else. Because even if they're in the wrong, you still have to act. You have to get out of whatever was caused by someone else, and you have to deal with it. So you might as well take ownership for what is going on in your life so that you can move forward. It is really hard to move forward when you're blaming someone. Oh, I didn't get this job because XYZ. Oh, I keep getting hurt in these relationships because women aren't good enough. Men aren't good enough. There's no good men left. That's not a very helpful way to look at life. Even if it were true, you're going to have a much better chance and a much happier, easier time dealing with the hardships that will come from the difficult situation you're in if you take ownership of what you can affect and not worry about the rest. I don't know why we do this, but we worry and blame things on, we worry about things that are out of our control. And when we do that, it's very easy to blame others. And when others hold the blame, you don't have to change. If everyone's the bad guy in your story, if everyone in your life has been the one that was wrong, newsflash, you're the asshole. You're wrong more times than you think, because we're all humans. We all fail. But if everyone's always the problem, you better take a look in the mirror, because the times when I thought everyone else was the problem, it turns out I was the asshole. I was the one that was in the wrong. If everyone's pissing you off today, it's probably not everyone else. It's probably you. You're probably in a bad mood for some reason. And if you haven't sat with those emotions, you're not going to know what caused it, and you're going to blame the world instead of taking responsibility for your own actions. No matter how you're feeling, you are responsible for your actions. And I think a lot of society has forgotten that. There are consequences to your actions. And just because you don't like them doesn't mean they're not coming for you. But this also works in your favor. If you take responsibility, you get to own your wins. No one else does. Because the stuff that you did directly impacted your results. So you get the win. Sure, people help you along the way, and those people need to be cherished, need to be thanked, need to be appreciated. But you can take ownership in the win, and that feels so good. Imposter syndrome drops away when you take ownership of your actions because you know that you did it. You don't have to question, you have proof. I take ownership for my actions. I did said actions. I own the result. That's a very freeing way to live life. And as you can learn to do this, you will have a much more time navigating this crazy world we live in. And you will be able to affect your community around you because your actions can be what you want them to be rather than everyone else is the bad guy. Don't blame others for your actions. Don't blame others for the consequences dealt to you because of your choices. If everyone's the bad guy in your story, newsflash, they're not the problem. I want you to sit with that and see if you can find that, because when I looked in my own life to find those places where I was not taking accountability, and when I started to change those and change those beliefs, my life got a lot better. And I actually got to feel good because of my wins. Imposter syndrome went out the door because I knew my actions had led to those results. Yes, luck is involved. Yes, timing is an important thing. But when I chose to take ownership of the good, the bad, and the ugly of my actions, I was able to feel both the pain of regret and the pain of failing, and being able to learn from that and move forward and not blame anyone else so that I could get better. And also, I got to feel good when I got better, when I took actions that made me excel. And that's a much better place to be. And I want you to feel that. It's important that you take ownership for your actions. So go out there and try that this week and see if you can take more accountability for things that you choose to do. I hope you guys have a good night. I love you guys. Go be the good in the world. And I'll see you tomorrow.